It could almost be Bozo. So this Zozo is interesting. Just quick backup on Zozo. It was definitely something associated with Ouija boards. That one guy in this kind of, it started a long time ago. I think the origin of this happened in 2009 on a public message board written by an ex-Ouija enthusiast named Darren Evans. And he talked about his experiences dealing with this demon in very similar ways, like weird shit was happening. That was the origin of it. So now, is it Zozo though? Like, what does that mean? That's just a popular cultural term. Like the same things that happened before Zozo was called. What the investigators thought it was an incubus or a succubus. And when they looked up, in those little demon things you see that he saw running around the house, that's what, when you look up succubus, is like apparently what Google shows you, what you would see the most of. So what he thinks is like,
okay.
it turns in, this is like something as old as time. Like it makes, it looks like whatever you think would be scary. Whatever like.
Well, we talked about that Joe Fisher story. We talked about spirits, incarnate energies from the other side, basically being imposters, taking on different forms and telling you whatever you want to see and whatever you want to, whatever it needs to do to kind of get your attention, basically. Yeah. So that kind of makes sense. And Zozo, if you know this kind of stuff, is kind of one of those popular, I'll say meme, maybe, popular kind of, entities that kind of get around in this space. So, it does, yeah, he's a fucking dirty slut. And he does bring in a lot of, like, negative energy, obviously. People are terrified of this thing, so...
Well, it also ties to that theme of, like, extra dimensionals sucking negative energy from humanity. Like, it's all tied together. That's really interesting. But to wrap up this story, the Conduit... the stories they go into are story after story of, like, running into, like, some sort of shadow figure. There was a conduit there, or a psychic named Dolores, who, like, got possessed by it and started talking like it, and it got clear. It was really clear that they didn't like the men. Another weird thing that all these different people saw, because they brought in independent investigators, just like the real deal. Like, these guys are ghost hunters, and, like, and then they came across something that was by far, like, real, like, the case of their lifetimes. They even brought in all these different people. And one thing everyone noticed, which is really weird and has been seen in other cases, is red orbs whipping around the house. So they go from the closet to the kitchen to like this little boy's bedroom, and they would go where you'd see the ghost, and everyone would see these things whipping around the house. So clearly something was like just right there, right outside of your perception. They walked right into one. The fucking cat died. It killed the cat. So they all like...
Not the cat.
What? That was a turning point, too. They were like, they killed the cat. We're definitely going to take care of this. And there's like, the guy even gives like an impassioned speech in the video. He's like, once I killed the cat, I knew I had to do something. It was fucking authentic, but it was...
I'm going to punch that ghost right in the fucking face.
Nobody puts Kitty in the corner.
But, okay, so this all ended one night where they had a priest come in, and they did all these different rituals, and they fought it, and they did a bunch of stuff.
The power of Christ compels you.
A lot of that shit. I don't know if it was a full exorcism, but they did some stuff. They didn't go into it. The authenticity, we'll post this link, is like the video itself is worth watching because it's clearly they're unnerved. Like they just went through it and they're like really amped up about it, and their stories are weird, and they all clearly hate it. They don't want anything to do with it, and they're happy to get rid of it. So the museum brought it back, and they cleansed it like we talked about earlier. Those things, they saged it, and there was a bowl, and something was said, and there was a drawing. I don't know. But this is what I want to say about what demons, because like everything got seen through a Catholic lens, which is like kind of how I was brought up. I'm not Catholic, but like it's interesting. Like it's like demons. How can it just be Catholic? But there was an interesting comment I want to read to end this. But this is what this woman Anna Meadows said: a lot of spirits labeled demonic are not demons. A demon is not going to be trapped in a house in a mirror. They are too powerful. However, there are a lot of other kinds of spirits that can be baneful or harmful. Some are unhappy vestiges of human lives that have not crossed over. Some are the warped spirits of humans that died in anger or great pain. Some are spirits of nature that have been harmed by the destructive activities of the humans in the wild. Some are our ancestors called the Fae, who have lived in subtle dimensions attached to the earth since before humans evolved. And our activities often affect and harm them. And yes, sometimes there are spirits that are just harmful, like insects that carry malaria. She goes on to make a larger point too about like when you're out in the wilderness, like some insects are bad, most are neutral, and some are good. Like you can't get all upset like everything's bad, and on the other side when you get, anyway, she goes into the whole thing about death. But anyways, I thought it was interesting. She brought up the Fae. Me too. Like the demon thing to me just seems like that's just like how we see things, and it also makes it scarier than it needs to be, because if you take the demon away from it, and you're like it's some you give it like
it's just a name, really, isn't it? It's just like a collective name that we've sort of we all agree on, that it's like negative entities are demons. And
Yeah,
that's just
exactly.
what they call
Right. Right,
But,
exactly.
yeah, I mean,
But
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is an ongoing case that's the mirror is now in this museum in Littleton, North Carolina. And I want to know more. Clearly, there's more details to this. It sounds like a movie. It's something straight. It's like a
I
classic
think,
case.
isn't there a movie based on this? I'm sure I've seen a movie
a dark
before
spirit
with,
trapped in a mirror. So wait, I have
Yeah.
questions. Did it come from the mirror? Is that it came from the mirror, right?
No,
the thing
well,
came through the
what
mirror.
have we learned in the
Or
past? Like they attach themselves to things as a trick. Like it's not actually attached to the mirror. It's
Dude,
attached
you're
to the
freaking
girl.
me out. I'm gonna like cover all my mirrors now.
I know, I'm sitting next to a mirror
Mirrors are
right
the
now and
worst.
my skin is crawling. 'cause
I
don't
like
wanna look
sleep
into
with
the
like
mirror.
mirrors in front of me. I think I'm gonna cover them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little creep fest.
Actually, I had my house. I just randomly thought of this. I had my house like cleansed. This is several months ago. Like I had somebody come in and they do like a whole ceremony and they cleanse it, right? And the first thing she said was, "You need to cover your mirrors when you sleep because things are watching you." And I'm like, I don't even want to think about that. But now after this, I'm
no,
like, I'm going to
fuck
cover my
that.
mirrors.
God
Something's
damn it,
watching
Melissa.
you.
Now I'm never going to sleep tonight.
Well, how do you think I feel? All right, I'm covering my mirrors.
But yeah, you guys remember, just seriously though, it's not about the mirror. Like we learned in other past cases like this, it's like they use that as like an object, but really it's about the person, and they're attached to the person. The object doesn't mean anything. But I don't know if that's the case with this. I just thought it might not be attached to the mirror at all. You know, that might just be where it rests or something until it comes out and wants it. The girl is what's attracting it there. I'm not sure how it works. I just found this case authentic. You got to watch the video. I'll post it though. It is, you believe the guy's talking. Like they're not bullshitting.
Yeah.
But you know what the Wiccan woman said is really what we've been talking about this whole podcast, which is it possible that people can see the other side, right? She's like, it's not, like, think about the guy, the doctor, who just started seeing the woman from The Ring. Is she evil? She does absolutely nothing to him. She just exists, follows him around in his space,
Yeah.
right? So there's the idea that, like, things are evil and the things that things look dark, but they're not. It's just, it's the
Right.
idea that we really don't understand what's on that other side, but some people can see it based on their ability to jump into another reality that's existing around us at all times. And so are they really crazy, or are they able to see things that we can't see because we don't have that lens? And that's the big question.
That's the big question.
Maybe it's
yeah.
both. Maybe it's both. You know, maybe that's why
Yep.
it's confusing.
Oh, just before we go, we've received some awesome reviews so far from people, and we would love some more if you guys have the time to jump on iTunes or whatever you listen to the show on. We've had some great people saying that they want longer shows, and we'd love to do that, but this is kind of a side gig for us all. So the more reviews and bigger stuff we get, the more we can kind of give you guys. So just leave us a review, send us a beer. Dick pics, don't do that. Please don't do dick pics, for
Please
the
don't
love
send
of
dick
God.
pics.
Please don't do that.
Maybe a couple.
Josh wants a couple. But
Just for Josh.
yeah, if you could leave us a review, throw a couple of stars our way. The bigger we get, the more we can give you. So that's
That's what she said.
Thank you, Melissa. Anyway,
All right, everybody, don't go crazy. Cover your mirrors because things are watching you. Until then, we'll see you next time.
goodbye.